have the widget list iterating over an array of widgets that is being provided by the reducer. Right? And right now, it's rendering two separate types of widgets depending on the type of that widget. And we have here, right, it's the code that's iterating over it. And depending on the type, either it renders one or the other. We could pass down the widget as an attribute, right, to both of these. Right? And then each one can interpret the widget, the data in there, in its own way. For instance, let's go into the paragraph widget. If you have the paragraph widget, what we might want to do is that not render this, instead render what? An actual paragraph. And render here the widget text. Yes? Right? And so it would render as follows. Notice that now this is an actual paragraph. If we look at and inspect it, we'll see that indeed it is rendering as a paragraph. See that? Right? It is indeed rendering just as a plain old paragraph. In the heading will be a little bit more involved, right? The heading widget, we want to render as a heading, but depending on the size, right? If the size is 1, we would like to render as a H1 heading. If it's the size is 2, we want to render as an H2 heading. Yes? And we already know how to do that. Right? What we could do is here, we might say that if the widget.size is equal to 1, then we render H1 and then the text. And then the text. Okay. Wait a minute. I think we need to wrap this perhaps maybe in a div. There we go. Excellent. So now we have here an expression that says, right, if the size is 1, then that's what I'm going to render. If the size is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, right? I would render either as H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, or H6, right? The same text, right? The same text. So let's see what that renders like. So there we go. So hello from Redux now is rendering as what? It's rendering as H2 because that's what the state says, right? In the state, in the reducer, the size is 2. If we say instead that the size is 1, we'll notice that now it's bigger, right? Or if the size is 6, there'll be a really tiny heading. Make sense? You see that? So it's propagating from way up there all the way down to the component, right? So again, we're using a technique that allows us to encapsulate or choose between many different ways of rendering based on this Boolean expression where both of them need to be true. Now the right-hand side is always true, or truthy, right? Meaning it's not null, it's not 0, it's not empty string, right? It's not undefined. So the right-hand side will always be true. So here on the left-hand side, only one of them exclusively will be true, and the one that is true together will make both ends true, and that's what will be rendered. Make sense? All right. Excellent. So we have that. Now let's keep going with some of these features.